You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Bold and the Beautiful fans. So we've got some storylines going on right now that are sloppy, annoying, or both, and could have been done a lot better. Some of these storylines with Luna, Liam, Hope, and several others are really annoying me, and I know a lot of fans are bothered as well. I watch the conversations on Soap social media. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to talk about 5 plots on B&B right now that are just not good. Not good soap stuff, not at all. Please click subscribe if you're not following us, and be sure to chime into the comments on what you think is the worst plot on Bold right now. So the first thing we got to talk about is this thing with Luna and Will and the wire he's wearing. First of all, there's no way Chief Baker could have gotten a warrant for this kind of surveillance on the basis of Luna hating Steffy. It's not against the law to hate your stepmother. It's just not, or a lot of people would be in jail. Plus, Luna's past murder conviction can't even be used as a basis for the warrant because she got a pardon. That wipes it clean. It's like gone. So the wire was also large and unsubtle. They might as well have taped a boom mic on Will's chest with duct tape and shoved him in Luna's door. It just wasn't serious. Like, it could have been something tiny. It was ridiculous. I know on Friday's show, Luna figures out Will is wired. And you can buy a tiny mic on Amazon for like $30. So Luna also said she's got a plan to take down Steffy. That's not very specific. It's not enough to get her arrested. Even if Luna said, I'm thinking about getting a gun and killing her, you can't get it like an attempted murder or premeditated murder conviction based on someone saying that they're thinking about doing something evil, unless there's some evidence they've taken steps to make it happen, Not only is this badly done, but it's a redo of that plot they tried with Sheila, Bill, and Ridge that blew up in their faces. It was bad then. It's no better now with Will and Luna. I honestly don't know why Brad Bell can't write better. He was raised and bred by soap writing royalty. His parents were amazing. Why can't he write better? He grew up at their knee while they were doing this. All right. The second thing is Brooke's insistence that what Ridge and Taylor have isn't real. And she told Katie, even Ridge and Taylor know that's not real. This dialogue makes Brooke sound like she's got amnesia. I don't know. I mean, come on. Ridge and Taylor have 3 kids. They were married twice before. One time it ended between Taylor and Ridge only because she had died, and he wound up with Brooke because Taylor was, supposedly gone for good. And then Taylor resurrected and Ridge immediately renewed vows with her. I'm not saying Taylor wins in the end. What I'm saying is that either Brooke's got destiny blinders on, or this dialogue that they've written is absolute drivel, because Brooke certainly knows better. Now, Katie gave her a reality check, but she's not telling her anything that Brooke doesn't know. So it's really annoying dialogue, because that would not come out of a human woman's mouth who has been through what Brooke has been through and what she's observed with Taylor and Ridge. It's drivel. All right. The third poorly done storyline we've got right now is Liam supposedly dying. Bold and the Beautiful has been so sloppy with this. And in the same way that they were sloppy when Eric was supposedly dying, I still don't think they have used the word cancer about Liam and what's killing him, but they have talked about him getting an oncology consult, which means it is cancer. That's what oncologists do. We all know that, right? Also, they had Grace Buckingham talking about the treatment option they had for him and how it could prolong his life, but it would take a toll. Liam was debating getting the treatment. He was talking to people about whether he should get it or not, and then they just totally dropped that thread. They never confirmed if Liam is getting the treatment, not in any of his conversations with Finn or anybody. And I mean, they were talking about chemo, if I recall correctly, and Liam's got every single hair on his head. It would have all been fallen out if he had chemo. I've got people in my family that have had cancer, and I know what happens. You guys do too. And we're not seeing any side effects with Liam that Grace and Finn said would come if Liam pursued treatment. We've seen him with just like one, there's some pills, but they've never explained it. And he doesn't have any of the symptoms of getting cancer treatment. And Liam has still not told anybody else in his family he's dying, not Bill, not his brothers, Will and Wyatt. And then they just pushed this urgently dying man onto the back burner. And I fully suspect he's going to get an 11th hour save like Eric did. We know that Bridget is back in July, and honestly, this feels like another exact plot redo. It's Liam instead of Eric. They didn't use the word cancer with Eric until way later, and then of course he got this miracle cure. So I will be stunned if it is anything but a redo of the Eric plot. So fourth, the next sloppy plot I got to mention is Nick Maroney's return for Brooke and the Taylor Ridge engagement. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of Jack Wagner, but this is a public relations mess because of conflicting interviews and B&B handing out contradictory talking points to the actor and then the showrunner doing something else. Bold and the Beautiful brought back Nick, obviously looking for a ratings boost. They had Jack Wagner doing interviews about how even though this one is a short return, he may come back later and that Brooke and Nick could have a real future. And Jack Wagner said he had even talked to Brad Bell about coming back again and how this doesn't have to be the end of Nick and Brooke, even though he can't stay for that long because he's got to go film for One Calls the Heart. And I'm sure Jack Wagner was saying exactly what he was told to say by B&B's PR team. But at the same time, Brad Bell was over there in Europe doing interviews with Italian press during that location shoot saying Ridge and Brooke are endgame. And he spoiled that something happens in Italy that convinces Ridge Brooke really is the woman he's meant to be with. Even if Brad Bell didn't think U.S. fans would get hold of that Italian interview, which we did, I shared it with you guys. I'll put the video about it on the end cap, so you can click and see it if you want. But he was still spoiling it all for the show's Italian fans. I mean, come on. Recasting Taylor, bringing her back, getting them engaged just to leave her in the dust of destiny makes no sense, and it's going to tick off a big chunk of the fan base. Ridge was first saying that he's got to keep his word. He wants to be a man of his word, not talking about love. And then like 2 weeks later, I think because a lot of fan complaints, then Ridge is talking about how much he loves Taylor. He's head over heels. It's very inconsistent. It seemed obligatory. And then all of a sudden, Ridge is all in his feels. Then he's going to go to Italy, fall or leap into the water based on a leak pic I showed you guys. And I don't know, half drown, hit his head, decide the destiny thing is real, dump Taylor, get with Brooke. We know Tridge is doomed thanks to Brad Bell's loose lips, so it's all so messy. And speaking of messes, the last one I want to talk about is Carter and Hope's Insta love. Carter never even looked at Hope, and then they invented some big retroactive crush he had on her that apparently was already active when he was dating her Aunt Katie. And then Hope just all of a sudden falls in love with Carter super fast after she was head over heels for Thomas for a long time, but never used the L word until the very end. And then Hope got angry at Carter and then just forgave him super fast, said yes to Carter's way too fast wedding proposal, and it's all very out of character for her. And all the claptrap that Hope said to Carter about how no man's ever made her feel this way is the exact same dialogue Hope said to Thomas. So was she lying to one or the other, or did they just forget they wrote this dialogue before? And now Daphne's in the mess because, Hope has to be part of a triangle. And Hope clearly said she wanted to be with Liam and he's the man for her. Carter overheard Hope say it, and then they abruptly changed direction, and Hope either forgot those lines or gaslit Carter and saying, oh, that's not what I meant. It's just extremely inconsistent writing mixed in with repeat plots from the past. And that's what makes Bold so frustrating. At this point, it feels like to me, no cohesiveness in the writer's room. Like, there's a staff writer doing Monday's script, a temp filling in, doing Tuesday's script. Brad Bell drops by and half-asses Wednesday's script with regurgitated junk from the past. An intern in the sound department is told they can write the Thursday script, and Friday is just someone randomly throwing darts at plot ideas. It is a mess. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.